Happy holidays. Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a happy holiday.
Hey, Canucks fans. Welcome to the Line Change podcast. This video is a presentation of DraftKings, and we are also, the Line Change, a proud member of the Hockey Podcast Network. We have a very special guest, Rain. Thank you for joining. And we got a Canucks hot take regarding Quinn Hughes.
First of all, you're hyping me up too much.
We're going to be talking Quinn Hughes, and Rain here has a hot take regarding the now former captain of the Vancouver Canucks. Before we get into the hot take, I just want to get what was your initial reaction to, the trade that basically shocked the Vancouver Canucks fan?
Are we talking from a hockey perspective or a personal life perspective? Because life.
It can be either. Either one.
Well, life personally, I feel indifferent. I'm not the type who's going to give you that kind of raw reaction like that. Like, it doesn't affect me directly. The sun rises and sets regardless. I haven't died yet, so they're not paying my bills. I have no incentive towards feeling one certain way or another. Hockey-wise, I'm not surprised about Quinn Hughes leaving. The thing that surprised me was two things. One, I did not have Minnesota in the bingo cards, which we'll get into. Two, I'm more surprised that management or ownership actually let them do this, because this is the same ownership group that, in my opinion, nixed the Pettersson to Carolina trade, which I do believe that was the case. So if they're willing to step in on that, but this is also an ownership group that has to be convinced to do things like the Ekman-Larsson buyout. That was not a one quick phone call, 5-minute conference, everyone's on the same page. Yeah, we're good. No, that took some real convincing. And then even something like offering Rick Talk at 5 times $5 million, that does not happen without ownership's approval. And the reason that took so long is because ownership never gave them the okay to do it. And by the time they finally did, it was too late by that point. So I'm more surprised by ownership letting them do this rather than the actual move in itself. I did not think Hughes was going to stick around. I could have told you probably, 3 years ago that it wasn't going to go well. And listen, I'm a Quinn Hughes fan, and I root for him in Minnesota now. I might have to go get a Minnesota Quinn Hughes jersey now. I do have a Kaprizov one, so we'll see about that.
Yeah, I did say, as weird as it was seeing him in a Minnesota Wild jersey, those jerseys are absolutely beautiful.
They're gorgeous.
The Wild jerseys are. They're gorgeous.
I love those.
But I don't see myself getting a Quinn Hughes Wild jersey.
You don't want
to. Yeah, it was still weird seeing that, especially that headshot that they posted last.
Yeah,
I mean, I like the headshot.
My closet now.
I don't like the fact that he's smiling in it.
I know, right? Isn't that weird to see?
But
isn't that the same thing
honestly,
we've been saying
though,
with Brock?
I do think they're.
But weren't we saying the same thing with Brock Boeser, though? Which is, where's the smile? where's the Brock smile? Like,
True.
we saying the same thing. So,
yeah. But like I said, I do like those jerseys. They are very beautiful.
I really like them. They're some of my
just
favorites.
the colors too. The colors.
Yeah.
Just like green, and then the I don't like those stripes. Like with Florida has the stripe in the middle. I'm not usually a big fan of them, but with Minnesota, it kind of works, but at the same time, they could lose it.
Only the right team, or only the right team with the right colors can pull it off, though. And I think Minnesota is one of them. The one thing that does concern me with the Minnesota Wild, though, now is now they got no center depth. Eriksson Ek's still out with injury, and then after Eriksson Ek, it goes downhill real quick. And I'm shocked that Minnesota did not ask for Ratu as part of the trade. Like, and now that kind of makes sense. If we were to believe that Minnesota asked for a first, Ratu and Silos, which, by the way, that's where they lost me. That's where they lose me. Now I sort of get, now I get why you wanted Ratu, because now you kind of go downhill from there. Because Eriksson Ek, in my opinion, is not a number one. He's a great number two, but he's not a one, in my opinion. I think they need a one. And I think when you got teams like Colorado and Dallas that are much more stacked down the middle and are just as stacked on the blue line, that's where you're going to run into the real issue. Especially considering that Minnesota's a team who hasn't gone out of the first round that often. I mean, my God, we're going back a minute now.
Yeah. I mean, actually, believe it or not, before we jumped on here, I was actually watching the Steve Dangle podcast, and they were talking about the odds for Minnesota and the fact that they are likely going to have to go through the Avalanche and the Stars. Yeah. And that's probably why they did this deal. Yes, they want to try and compete
still
with
don't
those
know
two teams. But you're absolutely right.
They really depleted their center depth, and that's
why they
absolutely
tanked. Like, it's like they became us by
pretty much. And I will say this: so for the people who don't like the trade package that Vancouver got from Minnesota, what did you think you were getting from New Jersey? Like, did you think you were getting Nico Hischier as part of the deal? Because that's the only way I do it. That's the only way I do it, is if Nico Hischier is part of that trade. And that that's not happening here in New Jersey, because then New Jersey is in the same problem Minnesota's in. And the only way New Jersey, I think, does Nico Hischier is if they do not think that Hischier's going to resign in 2027, which that number's going to go up from 7.25. Let's not kid ourselves. That number's going up. So, but I don't buy this idea that New Jersey could have been a more competitive offer. I don't buy it. Because, like I said, unless Nico Hischier is part of the return, that's not happening.
Yeah, I definitely, when I was looking at potential packages, and when I was thinking about New Jersey, I was like, you got to have Hischier in the package coming back. The Canucks need a center,
and there's not a left-handed shot. Like the package I bet you New Jersey offered started with Mercer and Jonas Siegenthaler, and it's those two names because you have to make the money work. That's the big one. But Siegenthaler is a bottom four defenseman on New Jersey, and Dawson Mercer, in my opinion, is not a centerman. And you need a centerman if you're gonna make a Quinn Hughes trade, and you get two pieces. You need a center and you need a left shot D. You don't get that with New Jersey, especially not the same. Not the quality of a Ziv Bouillon or a Marco Rossi, who I'm still on the fence about.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people because of his size. I mean, I made it pretty clear throughout the summer how much I liked him. Not just because of his size, but because I saw the size. I saw the 60 points last season.
Well, what concerns me is what concerns me with Rossi is he goes from 18 minutes average in the regular season to 11 minutes during last year's playoffs. He was a bottom six center. He's below 50% of the faceoff. He doesn't kill penalties. I think if you're going to be a top two center in Vancouver, you got to be able to be a penalty killer, in my opinion. Maybe we'll see that with Rossi, although the Boeser experiment hasn't. How low has that gone? But that's my concern with Marco Rossi. Besides the size.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Why don't we get into the Quinn Hughes hot take?
The hot take. Well, I think my hot take is who my surprise loser is. Maybe that might be what it is.
And
I did tease.
I'll give you the floor. What's your Quinn hot take? Yeah.
So first of all, I would be very surprised if you were able to guess who this loser is. I'd be very surprised, but I actually have it here. So my loser for the Quinn Hughes Minnesota trade is this team right here, the Calgary Flames. That is my loser. And they're my loser because I bet if you're Calgary, this is the trade package you thought you could get for Rasmus Andersson. And you might have been able to get this trade package comparable to Rasmus Andersson, if only if it was, 12, 18 months ago when he was playing as a number one defenseman, particularly after Mark Giordano left to go to the Seattle Kraken as part of the expansion draft. But the problem, though, is that, and again, this is for people who don't like the trade package, the Calgary situation with Rasmus Andersson is a picture-perfect example of what happens when you wait too long to trade an asset that you know damn well is not going to be there. Because that package is not there now for Rasmus Andersson, and he'll look great in Vegas colors next season. But I think Calgary looks at that package that Vancouver got for Quinn Hughes and thought, shit, I wish we had... Because I bet you was probably somewhere close. I bet you they probably had, maybe you don't get a Booyah, but you might get, somebody of a decent caliber and a first round pick. I mean, think about what Noah Hannafin got. Noah Hannafin got a couple decent pieces, but Rasmus Andersson is on a different level than Noah Hannafin is. And that's the trade package that Calgary thought they were going to get for Andersson, and that's not there anymore. And I think they're going to be paying a big price for it when they get nothing for him in the end.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised you brought up Rasmus Andersson as
that's not the name you would have thought I was going to say. You didn't think I was going to go there, did you?
Part of is a Flames podcast. Yeah, and I actually was watching their podcast from earlier today because they kind of obviously touched on Quinn Hughes because that is around the NHL right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I was watching it. Normally, I don't watch Calgary Flames stuff, but I thought it was, intriguing. And they were kind of comparing Rasmus Andersson and Quinn Hughes. Like, how Calgary is probably going to be in a similar situation. They're going to trade. Well, it's obvious now that's leaning towards a trade for Rasmus Andersson. But I just thought it was interesting that they were comparing the two.
We haven't heard that for 2 years, though, with Rasmus Andersson. Why hasn't it happened yet? It's been 2 years. We've heard this. Yeah. This Anderson's not gonna be sticking around. I mean, when you got your captain telling the media that he's probably gonna get traded, shouldn't that tell you something?
Yeah.
Say that was a public statement.
Yeah, that was pretty big to hear that.
And again, he'll look great in Vegas colors next season because that's where I think he's going to end up anyways. I mean, they need an Alex Pietrangelo replacement
there's been a lot of
if this injury is as serious as we think it is. I mean, it's serious enough for Pietrangelo to miss the Olympics. That is, if they go. But my losers
sure.
to Calgary Flames.
Definitely, I've heard a lot about Vegas. For sure, I've heard a lot about Vegas. And actually, I think it was on that same podcast. They one of the hosts mentioned Dallas. He could maybe even go to Dallas, which I thought was interesting.
Dallas is interesting. Although
Dallas really
their
needs
right side's
him.
Never been the same though. After Chris Tanev left to go to Toronto, I think they upgraded with Matt Dumba and Ilya Lyubushkin, which that's. I mean, Matt Dumba's now in the American League, so that's gone great. Lyubushkin is just too expensive for the position he plays. So that's an idea. That's definitely an idea. I mean, you need something for Heiskanen and Thomas Harley. So, and I mean, if you're Colorado and Dallas, do you feel like you have to do a move now that Minnesota's got Quinn Hughes? Although I still would like a sentiment by Minnesota. That's still a position I think you need.
Yeah,
is down the middle.
Yeah, I think that's one thing. That's what a lot of people are like not really considering. They're all like, oh, Quinn Hughes. We got Quinn Hughes. It's like you got to replace Marco Rossi.
Yep.
You guys don't have the pieces for that right now.
Yeah, because you got to
So
go through. You got
Bill
to go
Guerin's got some work to do.
Oh yes, but if anybody's willing to take a big swing, it's Bill Guerin. Like Bill Guerin's not afraid of a big swing.
Yeah.
But also I'll say this though too. I'll say this though too as well, and this kind of ties into the Rasmus Andersson thing. This may be the trade package now. This is not the trade package 6 months from now at the 2026 NHL entry draft, because the one thing we kept hearing with Minnesota is they've not had reassurances that Quinn Hughes is going to stick around, and 2 of the teams supposedly pulled out because they wanted the reassurance. That is the absolute contingency that is going to come with any trade at the 26 entry draft. That was the contingency with Mikko Rantanen getting traded from Carolina to Dallas. Was Dallas signing him to that 8-year extension? That trade package is not anywhere near the same if Rantanen does not sign the extension. And again, that's the thing. That's what happens when you wait too long. Is that package is not going to be there 6 months from now. It's the Jacob Chikrin of Calgary. Don't you love I'm just pulling all these names out?
Definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. Obviously people are hearing. We've even seen it recently. I actually just did a video earlier this morning. Talking about more details regarding the trade and Quinn's official thoughts on it. Post game for Minnesota. They basically. Yeah, they basically said, December, January was the time to do it.
Yeah.
His value kind of goes down if you wait longer.
Well, and
so,
what?
Jimmy, he pulled the trigger.
The thing you worry about, too, is that, if the players go to the Olympics and they got that smaller ice surface, shit can hit the bed real quick. Mm-hmm. So that's the worst thing you want to have happen is you hold on to this asset and then shit goes wrong at the Olympics. I mean, I believe it was it Jamie Benn of Dallas back in 2014 got injured at the Sochi Olympics, if my memory's correct. I think so. I don't know. It's been a minute now since the last Olympics.
Yeah.
The players passed, so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and believe it or not, that's one thing they mentioned on the Flames cast is especially when it pertains to Rasmus Andersson. What if he gets hurt?
Yeah.
They're kind of pooched when it comes to a trade. So they're obviously, hoping he doesn't get hurt before they can. I think kind of were echoing the same thing. Like, why isn't it been done? Why hasn't the trade been done yet?
Hasn't it been done? We're 2 years,
that
we're
is
2
their
years
worry.
overdue on this. And if that's the package you think you're getting for Rasmus Andersson,
Mm-hmm.
that is not there. That might have been there 12, 18 months ago. It's not there now. It's just not there. Mm-hmm. He's gonna get double what he's currently making. I would be surprised if if the number's not a 9. Mm-hmm. And of course, Canuck fans hate Rasmus
especially
Andersson.
for a guy like Andersson. And
Canuck fans hate Rasmus Andersson because he's the draft pick.
Apparently he hates Vancouver.
Yeah, well, feelings mutual, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny.
And apparently it's he. Yeah. So I don't really have it. I don't mind him. I think he's a good player. So I think more so for me, it's Weegar, who I do not like.
I personally think Mackenzie Weegar is kind of overrated, but maybe that's for another conversation. and it's amazing how.
Let's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say regarding the Rutherford quotes, they knew back in American Thanksgiving or whatever. I could have told you 18 months ago that this wasn't gonna happen. Mm-hmm. I could have told you maybe 3 years ago that this wasn't gonna happen, but we'll get into that. Mm-hmm. the life lessons I can pull out of this situation.
yeah, we're hearing a whole bunch of different stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's quickly do the sponsor read, and then we'll get right on that. So I want to give a big shout out and thank you to my sponsor, DraftKings.
Drinking and driving is a decision that will change your whole world. Things will never be the same once you get a DUI, because legal fees and time in court are just the beginning. Getting into a crash is another way your world could be irreversibly changed after drinking and driving. Your vehicle may not be the only thing that gets damaged in that crash. You could face a life-altering injury or even death. But you're not the only one who could face those consequences. Your decision to drink and drive could permanently change someone else's world, whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving. The next time you're out drinking, call a rideshare, a taxi, a sober friend, or a designated sober driver. Always plan for a safe ride home. The only decision that'll change your world for the better is the decision to call for a sober ride. It's never worth it to drive drunk. Don't risk it. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
The jaw-dropping moments that make hockey, well, hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. New customers, this one's just for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Pass-through of per wager. Tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which will expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. This is a limited time offer. Copyright of the NHL 2025, all rights reserved. All right. There we go.
Like I said, you have to just tell me when to stop up. So.
Nah, it's all good. All good. I gotta figure out how to read that faster too. But it's all good. So let's keep going on the conversation. I forgot what we were about to get into.
The life lessons I can pull out of this Quinn Hughes situation. The life lesson I could pull out of this. So the first one being, one thing I always grew up with: if it isn't a hell yes, you have to take it as a hell no. And no answer is an answer, or non-committal, that is an answer. So I think the fact that Hughes would always give a non-committal answer or dodge it in any sort of way, that should have really said something right then and there. But also, there's this sense too, which is, if the Canucks have been successful in the last 4 years, that's not a question that's being asked. The reason they were asking reporters were asking Quinn Hughes that question so early on is because how shit the team had been. We would not be asking Quinn Hughes that question if Vancouver had been having Tampa level success. The thing about with Stamkos did not want to leave Tampa. Tampa didn't want Stamkos. There's a difference in that situation. It wasn't that Steven Stamkos wanted to leave Tampa. Tampa just didn't want him. But again, we're not asking Quinn Hughes the question of, well, are you gonna be a long-term Canuck? We're not asking him that if the team had been successful during his entire tenure. So again, that should have been a red flag right then and there. I mean, I wish I could say I knew 4 years ago he wasn't going to stick around, because I always say pay attention to the small things, because big things only happen when you ignore the little things first. So there was the fact that it wasn't done until September 2021. My thing always is that if something or somebody is a main priority, you get that done right away. Why did you wait until September 2021 to do it? And listen, don't give me they didn't have the cap space to make it work. No. Don't give me that. There are people who get paid, who are on payroll of NHL teams where they are capologists. That's their entire job. if it was that much of a priority to get Quinn Hughes signed at that point, they should have done it way before they finally got it done in September 2021 the first time. That should have been during the season or before his ELC was done. That should not have been almost right before training camp. That should have been done way sooner if that was a main priority. Also, the fact that there was criticism that it wasn't an 8-year deal. The fact that it was only 6 and it took him right to UFA status. That again should have been a red flag. It's like, why are we reacting negative to the fact that he's going to be a UFA when this is over? Like, that should have said something right there. But it's always those little things, because once something big happens, and that's true with everybody in their own life, which is whenever something crashes and burns, we always look back and go, okay, what were the red flags? What did I miss? And 11 times out of 10, there's always a point in which you say, well, there was that one time where there's the light bulb, or, there was that. Yep. We all find ourselves doing that, don't we? And you go, I wish I had seen that sooner.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, obviously we heard everyone saying, like just before American Thanksgiving, we also kind of heard Alvin when he did his media availability that he thought it may have been like this a year ago.
Yeah.
Like during the whole JT PD turmoil. At least that's coming from Alvin. We're getting like two different stories from Rutherford and Alvin. So it kind of makes you wonder if they may not be on the same page.
I don't think they're on the same page at all. I'm surprised.
Because apparently also it was Rutherford who was mainly doing this deal. It wasn't Alvin.
I could believe that because Jim Rutherford's
Rutherford was the one talking to Garen.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I absolutely believe that. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Miller PD riff because that's the hot take. I'm surprised that you haven't mentioned that you wanted to get into because I know you have a bias with Miller.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you may have a bias, but here's the thing, I don't give a shit. That's just the way I work. But I'm surprised.
Well, maybe we'll save that one for another hot take for sure. But like Rutherford saying, American Thanksgiving, or like within the last few weeks, you hear Alvin saying, he thought Quinn wasn't going to do it a year ago, which.
Well, I mean, I set this on I think it was Clay's show. I set this on, which is my criticism of Patrick Alvin has always been, it's almost like as if he's got like a list of 5 questions that he knows he's going to be asked, but then the second you ask him a question that he's not prepared for, it's like a deer in the headlights. Like it's very, that's where you get the unscripted, unfiltered word vomit, as I call it, and that's where he's left going, oh God, it's like, please take a PR class. Like my God, like I need to get in front of you and be like, this is how you handle public relations. And I have no expertise in that whatsoever. And yet I could teach him how to do it. And it's like, good Lord. And then Rutherford always gets like a pass because they're like, well, this 70-something-year-old man, like, like he's been around since the prehistoric age and blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, whatever. We would not be saying that if he was 40 years old. It's like, if he's been around for as long as we think he has been, the man should know better. Good Lord. And this is the guy who Rutherford hired.
Definitely.
That's the worst part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know if you saw on the stream that we did on Friday, but I kind of was not necessarily making fun of Alvin, but I was kind of doing like an impersonation because it's, like you said, word vomit every time he speaks.
It's a word vomit.
I kind of... Mm-hmm.
I remember I coined that term,
especially when he's talking to reporters.
Yeah, I remember coining that term with a friend of mine who was talking about, because I use that term when it comes to when you're in the dating field and you're talking to somebody who is quote unquote out of your league, which I don't believe in, but anyways, and so you feel like because they're out of your league. You have to say more and more to be more interesting, but you end up saying way too much at that point. And by that point, they know everything about you. So there's nothing left to discover at that point. But with Alvin, it's like, oh my God, like, no wonder you have so many messes to clean up because you keep saying way too much.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, I was kind of like poking fun at him a little bit, and just the way he pronounces Vancouver, it just makes me laugh every single time I see him. Vancouver.
Like the man's been here for 4 years. Like, how have you not known how to pronounce that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh,
yeah. But yeah, no, definitely. Like the two different stories, I guess you can say, from Alvin and Rutherford on like when Quinn made up his mind. And then even hearing Quinn like talk about the like what all went down that day, and obviously him with the little clip on like, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say anything. It's like, well, Quinn, you're not with the Canucks anymore. You can say whatever the hell you want. Like, I get there's the respect thing, but it's like you are technically property of the Minnesota Wild now, and I'm sure they don't care.
They don't give a shit
because
they just mortgage 3 bases, including their center deck for you. Like, and I've said before too that I don't think a Quinn Hughes trade is the wake up call of him walking would be, because a trade, I mean, let's be real here, they're not going to do this right, but a trade you can spin it, and to spin it you kind of have to throw him under the bus. So if Alvin had gotten out there and said, listen, we traded a guy who didn't want to be here and brought in 3 guys who do, then that would give Quinn Hughes every single right to throw. It's like, you know what? Let's go tit for tat. Let's throw him under the bus. Like, let's go. Like I'll dish it out.
Yeah.
But because Alvin didn't go there, which is actually quite surprising.
Yeah, I did notice because
I'm surprised he didn't.
I mean, I think someone pointed this out on social media that. Yeah, someone pointed out on, I think it was social media, that during his little press conference, he didn't mention Alvin's name once.
No.
He just mentioned Rutherford and his agent.
Yeah.
So I was a little like, I raised my eyebrow at that, going like, hold up. What about Patrick Alvin, the guy who's supposed to be the GM?
I sense some shade from that. I sense a little shade from that.
Yeah. So perhaps there was something between
Does he
Quinn
mention
and
Alvin in
Alvin?
his? Does he mention Alvin in the Instagram post? Does he mention Alvin in that? I'm not on social media, so I don't know this.
I mean, I can quickly check, but I don't recall actually seeing anything about that.
See if he didn't mention Alvin in the Instagram post. Ooh, there's more to this.
Nope, he didn't.
Wow.
He mentioned Rutherford, Adam Foote. He mentions Francesco Aquilini.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But no mention of Patrick Alvin.
Wow.
Whatsoever.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, I think
So that's telling.
I think that's very telling. I don't know what yet. Come back to me with that. I'll think of it. I don't have it yet, but there's something to that.
Yeah, I'm surprised people aren't, chewing on that right now. Like, like the media and whatnot. And like,
how do you not chew up on that?
Yeah.
I mean, they'll take any kind of fodder they can get. How do you not chew up on that one? But yeah, I think there's some shade drawn at that one.
Oh yeah, especially after seeing the Instagram post having nothing. Like, sure, you can like write off like the press conference. Maybe he just wasn't thinking of it at the time. But even his Instagram post, not a single. I mean,
because you can edit that. You can. You're spending the time typing that out. You can edit that. No. That was not. And by the way, I don't believe in coincidences. I'm a firm disbeliever in that. I don't believe in coincidences. So the fact that it wasn't mentioned in either of those settings, that should really tell you something. But like I said, I have to think about which one it is. But I have an idea as to maybe why that is.
Well, yeah, because I know you had a hot take on Alvin that he's gone in like what was it?
I think
2
he's gone.
years?
I think he's gone by 27. And I will say this.
By 27.
I do have a key distinction. So I think Rutherford will walk. I think he'll go on his own merit. I think they're gonna do like the send off of, here's a guy who's been in the league for 40, 50,000 years, again, since the prehistoric age. But I think with Alvin, I think he is gone by 2027, because I think the fact that, it's amazing what 15 months can do. This was the guy who 15 months ago, was a finalist for GM of the Year, which, by the way, I fucking can't stand that award. Oh my God, I can't stand that award, but that's another story. I digress. Anyways, and it's amazing what 15 months can do, because he went from being a finalist to now we can't trust him to be the one who makes these big decisions. And I still am not on, I wouldn't say I'm not on team rebuild, but the hard part is that how do you do a full-on rebuild when you got 7 players with no movement clauses, 2 of them with partial no trades? How do you do it? How do you tear that down?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all assuming
Exactly.
that, because that's all assuming, because the assumption is, oh, everybody will want to waive to get out. I don't know.
Yeah, very true. And
I mean, if you're me, I think Alvin trades Brock Boeser, but I also, this is where I want to clarify this. So if Alvin is still a GM, Brock Boeser will get traded. But if he's not the GM, then I think all bets are off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my clarification, because I still think Boeser gets traded within 3 years. I'm sticking with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I said it on the stream. Like, it's kind of ironic. Quinn goes to Minnesota, and we all were worried about Brock going to Minnesota, like if he didn't resign.
Yeah,
and then it's Quinn who ends up going.
Which I have a separate take on that, because I mentioned the other one with regarding Boeser, because the narrative has always been, when Boeser signed the extension, well, Vancouver gave in. Vancouver's the one who caved. They gave him the term that he wanted. Blah 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 blah. I don't believe they caved. I think Brock Boeser caved. Mm-hmm. I believe Besser's the one who caved.
Yeah.
And it's not because
definitely.
of money. I don't believe money is the reason that he caved.
No.
I don't know about time.
I mean, he's made it. Yeah, he's made it known that he wanted to stay, and he kind of stuck to his guns on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think someone else even said, like, who caves first, Vancouver or Brock? And it appears Brock is the one who caved.
Yeah, I do think it's it kind of gets perceived as a bit of both, but I also think my reason with Boeser is nothing to do with the contract or nothing to do with the negotiations. Well, maybe it kind of does a little bit. And it's funny. I'm trying to think of the right way to word this, because I know how to explain this in my head, but it's a matter of trying to word this. So my personal thing is, whenever you enter any sort of relationship, whether that is personal, so with friends or family, professionally, like at the workplace, or romantically when it comes to dating, you need to establish what your boundaries are. You need to establish what you're willing to put up with, what you're not willing to put up with, and what your deal breakers are. And most importantly, you have to stick with them. And so if I were to ask Brock Boeser, what are your boundaries when it comes to Vancouver? Like, what would be considered a deal breaker? I feel like I would get a glaze. Like, what are you talking about? Because this is somebody who twice has been disrespected by Canucks management. Twice now with bridge deal, prove it contracts. Now, we can argue the merits of whether or not those were right or not, but the bottom line is that is you have to prove it to us. That's not you're loyal to us. That is, you have to prove it. And we saw that the third time around, which was why he originally rejected that 5 times $8 million deal, if we're to believe that was true. That's not a commitment. We're kind of going half in, half out. And each time Brock Boeser has caved in by just signing the bridge deal, then signing the second bridge deal. And then the one time he actually took some control with that trade request or agent seeking, whatever you want to call that, when he finally took some control, he caved by rescinding the trade request at the live press conference. And so I just look at him and think, what does Vancouver have to do for you to finally say, you know what, this is too much. This is too much. I'm done. Like, what could they possibly do? Is it trade Quinn Hughes? I don't know. Is it? Do they move from Connor Garland? I don't. Which, by the way, I still. Oh God. Anyways, what is it that Vancouver would have to do in order for Brock Boeser to say, you know what, my boundaries have been pushed? Because here's the thing too. The worst time to establish what your boundaries are is when you're in the middle of a situation in which you feel like your boundaries are being pushed. You need to establish that beforehand, so then when you are having your boundaries pushed, you can step in and say, "Whoa, back up! You're pushing it." Because the people who hate your boundaries the most and disrespect them are the ones who benefit when you don't have any to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I know this is
yeah,
a huge
definitely.
video, but
That's okay. It's still Canucks related.
it's
Canucks
all
Hot Take.
it's all over the place. This was when I was on Play Show. I go 100 miles an hour, and ironic I use the term word vomit because that's what I do about 9% of the time I talk anyways.
No, it's good. It's content. It's good stuff, and it gets people thinking. Especially when a trade like this happens, a little over 48 hours ago, and Canuck fans are still kind of reeling from it. I know a lot of the mainstream podcasts, whatnot, are literally just talking about it for the first time today, because they usually don't.
Given that it was Friday night, something like that. So
yeah, it was Friday night. Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm seeing it everywhere. But yeah, it's a major talking point. A lot of people are saying.
I've seen it around that this is the biggest trade in Canucks franchise history. I don't know if I see it that way, but
yeah, I'm not quite sure. Sure on that. Definitely the biggest trade in the NHL in some time, for sure.
Probably since the Matthew Puck trade. That would be the one. That's the big comparable that for like the last seismic trade, because that was trading 100-point players for each other, like that, which had never happened in the recent NHL era. So, but that's like the last big trade, and it's amazing how much of a 180 that was, because Brad Treliving of Calgary was praised for that trade at the time, because it's like, okay, here you got a guy who got 100 points, you got a top 4 defenseman, and you got a first-round pick out of it, and now Huberdeau's on a contract that's like one of the worst in the league. Uyghur, what the fuck has happened with him this season? And then that first-round pick is like, I don't know, basically a second at this point. I don't remember the details. I don't remember the details of it, but it's not.
Yeah, all I remember is Huberdeau was, there was so much, praise for like bringing him in, and then he hasn't been that same player since the trade happened.
No, because Bill Zito knew that Huberdeau was never going to be that same player again. He knew that. That's why he traded him. Like, I could have what I know, and what I know is going to go downhill, or here's the shiny toy in Matthew Tkachuk, who just keeps getting injured every single year, which ironic how that works. But I mean, Florida's got 2 cups, so I guess we can't complain too much.
Yeah, especially if you're a Florida Panthers fan. It seems, you hear a lot of people talk about, like, or rather joke. I actually even made this quip on one of my recent post games. This was before the Stuart Skinner Oilers trade that preceded the Quinn Hughes trade. A lot of people seem to be forgetting about that trade happened because
You know what's funny is my brother was actually the one who broke the trade to me about Quinn Hughes going to Vancouver. So my brother never calls me on anything, and we had been texting throughout the day, and I was the one who texted him about the Skinner for Jari trade, and then he calls me, and he never calls me for anything. And so he says to me, he's like, guess who got traded? And I threw some dumb answer out there because I'm thinking, this isn't realistic. Like, this isn't who I think it is. So I gave some dumb answer. It's like, oh, what, did Evan Bouchard of the Edmonton Oilers get traded? He's like, no, like this is like a Quinn Hughes trade. And then my first thought was, because he said he read it on X, and I thought, is this one of those fake accounts? And he's like, okay, well, it's Elliot Friedman with a check mark beside his name. So, reliable source? It's like,
that was like when I when I first found out about it, I actually saw a tweet from Doodle and he was, I guess, just talking about, quickly about the trade, saying, "Hey, I'll talk about it when I get home." And I was like, "No way." And then I literally scroll up, and there's Elliot Friedman's tweet, and I'm just like, "Fuck." It's true.
Oh shit! This actually happened. Oh god! I think I had I had old flock face for about maybe 15 seconds, and then I was like, "Oh wait a second, this doesn't affect me." So
yeah, that was basically my reaction.
I mean, listen,
right
I'm a hockey fan, not a content creator, so
yeah. I mean, I saw that and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I was actually working on a separate video. I was actually working on a thumbnail. That was Quinn Hughes related. I forget exactly what I was talking about. I think it had to do with might have actually was Nico Hischier, talking about the Devils and Nico Hischier. I was going to do one on that package. Yeah. And then I was like, well, screw that. I'm just going to quickly do a quick thumbnail on Quinn Hughes and just put Hughes traded in big bold letters. Yeah. And then was like, okay, I gotta start this.
Because fuck Hischier the Devils at this point, because that's gone by the wayside now.
Oh yeah.
If you're Vancouver, if you're Vancouver in that trade, you're asking for Hischier. Devils respond with Mercer and Siegenthaler. That's my personal opinion on that. But I don't think New Jersey's package was going to Hischier. I don't believe that. So.
No. I even heard things about how they had too much money tied up in, believe it or not, no move clause, no trade clauses. They couldn't free up the money to do it. No. That's what I'm hearing. And yeah, I think I heard at one point Nemec and Mercer.
Nemec makes no sense. If this were 2 years ago, maybe, but Nemec is already in a logjam in New Jersey. He'd be even more in a logjam on Vancouver. So that doesn't make any sense at all. Because you've already got Hronek, you got Myers, okay. Then you got Villander, then you got Mancini. Where is there room for Nemec? Unless you can suddenly play the left side, which I don't. I haven't seen that, but I don't know. I don't think Nemec made any sense. If this were 2 years ago, maybe, but not now.
Definitely. Yeah, but I saw a lot about there being they couldn't free up the cap space for Quinn Hughes. Which is, and then I also saw today hearing some people even saying like, oh, could Fitzy, as Quinn likes to call him, is he on the hot seat because he couldn't get Quinn Hughes, which I don't think is the case.
I don't believe that. If that's the reason, no, there's other shit that goes wrong. There's other shit that you can claim of New Jersey. That's not one of them. Like the fact that New Jersey doesn't have a goalie at the future after Markstrom and Allen, who are both going to be 40,000 years old when their contracts are up. So, and that was actually my other concern with New Jersey, which is, I don't see New Jersey being on the up in the trend unless they get a goaltender. Yes, they make the deal for Markstrom. Markstrom's not a spring chicken. Like, he's not 25.
No.
I think he's 35? 30 something.
Yeah,
I know that.
Something like that.
30 something. But yeah, New Jersey is going to need a goalie at the future. Minnesota at least has Philip Gustafsson and Jesper Wallstedt, who they're not old. And that's why Silas never made any sense to me. If that's true that Minnesota asked for a first, Silas and Rachi, Silas is where they lose me. Because what? Are you going to have Silas playing the starter in the American League? Like, why?
Yeah. Especially after him winning the Calder. They basically figured he graduated from the AHL.
My brother's an Oilers fan, and he was so pissed when Edmonton traded that first round pick so Minnesota could get Jesper Wallstedt. He is still salty about that. He's like, Edmonton had the chance, and they didn't fucking do it. And now look at where we're at.
Yeah, they look like they had their goalie of the future, but nope.
That should have been a fireable offense right there. Sorry, that should have been a fireable offense.
Yeah. We
want to talk GMs for making trades or moves that they shouldn't have done. That is one of
them. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean, Oilers fans have been clamoring for 2 years now to get better goaltending, and they finally pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the timing's a little odd, for sure.
I mean, the hard part is that Edmonton just came out back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. So it's hard to argue if your management. It's like, well, this is the goaltending duo that got us to back-to-back Cup finals. And it's like, yeah. And look at how that's happened since then.
Mm-hmm. And then even because when I was, doing my research for that particular video, which I don't normally do, but I was like, screw it. It's news and no one else is talking about it. So
yeah, it's out there. So
yeah. And I was like, yeah, they were just coming off of, I think they were on a bit of a winning streak because I know Skinner was like 4-1 in his last 5 starts, and then you go and trade him.
Sell
for
him
Tristan
while you're on a
slightly older version of Stuart Skinner.
Well, it's interesting because I originally thinking, why is Pittsburgh being the one that acquires Stuart Skinner? And then I realized, oh, wait a second. You got a GM who signed like a 7-year contract. This is the guy who's going to take you like through the full-on rebuild. Like once Crosby and Malkin and Letang are all out. Like, so you're going to have Kyle Dubas sticking around to do the rebuild, and you require Skinner to go, okay, we don't want to be great. So we need a guy who maybe can't stop a beach ball 25% of the time. So, why not get him? And then, if he's too good, then you flip him to somebody else at the trade deadline for a draft pick. I don't know. He'll still get more money than he probably should earn, but given how weak the goaltending market is in free agency.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Like I said, I go 100 miles an hour and also
right about 50 minutes. So we went a little
over. This
all
was like
good.
when I was on Clay's show. It's like
it's fine. It's it's all good. It's all good. The longer, I think, more views. So I really do appreciate you coming on here and giving us your hot take on Quinn Hughes. I'm looking forward to even more, particularly that JT Miller one that we'll get to, and perhaps the answer to that one that we just talked about with Alvin and Quinn Hughes. Once you nail that down, we'll for sure get you on for that because that's spicy to me.
Because I'm thinking myself once, okay, that's nothing. But if it's twice and we can see it publicly, there's something to it. I have some thoughts, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that one for sure. Definitely let me know once you get that, and I'll get you back on, and we'll for sure chat about that. Once again, thank you very much.
We're definitely going to duke about the Miller. We're definitely going to duke about the Miller one. We're definitely going to do this. I don't think we're going to be on the same page as that one. So, little preview.
Yeah. Once again, thank you very much for doing this, Rain. I know it took a little bit, but we were able to get it done.
I was starting to think it wasn't going to happen. I'm thinking, oh boy, I must have fallen by the wayside now at this point.
No, it's all good. I'm glad I was able to get you on. Hopefully Clay sees this and has a good chuckle himself. I know he had you on, was it week and a half ago?
Yeah, week or something ago. I always seem to crack him up with something I say. I mean, I am a walking joke at this point, but anyways.
That definitely, this was great. I really enjoyed this. And yeah, thank you once again for coming on. Really appreciate it. And looking forward to some more hot takes in the future.
Good.
Especially that Miller one for sure.
I gotta give you some tea.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. Thank you once again, Rain. Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
and I'll let you see yourself out, as Clay likes to say.
All right. Bye, peoples.
All right. Well, that was Rain Wilson, fellow CCC member. It was great to get him on. Really, really wanted to get him on to get some of his hot takes. I hope you guys enjoyed some of the hot takes. Whether you agree with them or disagree with them is fine. But obviously, everything is all about Quinn Hughes and the Canucks and the direction they are going forward. But if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button. And if you guys want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single video. Join the discussion. Find us on Discord. There is a link in the description down below. It's completely free to join. So go ahead and join the discussion over on Discord. We can talk all things such as hot takes, such as this that we heard earlier, and just general Canucks discussion. Go ahead and find us on our Discord. And you can also find us on social media. They are all listed right there. And feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. If you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. On Spotify, feel free to give us a follow and also rate and review us on either platform. And this has been the Line Change Podcast. My name is Tyler, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little Canucks hot take featuring Rainn Wilson and just talking a little hot take on Quinn Hughes, a little hot take on Brock Boeser, and perhaps as a preview, maybe we'll have a little hot take on Patrick Allvin and Quinn Hughes from that little, the press conference that we saw, and then also his Instagram post, completely omitting Patrick Allvin. Perhaps there might be some tea there. We will find out. And as always, go Canucks go, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Hey, Campoli missed the puck. Ryan Johnson just gets it out. And Hughes dumped the puck back in. Campoli trying to clear it. Burrow shoots, scores!
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening. Happy holidays! Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy Holiday.